the Aunty and Brain Tumours talk show on podcast.
Hi, my name's Victoria. I was diagnosed with a meningioma brain tumour in June 2017, and it was a bit of a shock. I had been suffering from various things, including focal seizures. Previous to this, I hadn't realised that that's what it actually was. I just thought I was having a few funny 5 minutes. I travelled a lot with my work. So I used to get regular ear infections and headaches, and I just used to put them down to I was tired or I was in tourist resorts, so there was sand in the atmosphere, and that's what gave me ear infections and earache and headaches. So it never entered my head that I was having either a seizure and definitely not a brain tumour. When I was diagnosed, I was told that I had a tumour a third of the size of my brain. It was almost fully removed about 6 weeks after. But the beginning of the story really was I had my grandson who was about 6 and I'd had him for the day. His mum was a dog walker. It was pretty bad weather. So I had James and I'd dropped him off to his mum and everything was absolutely wonderful. As I was walking home, a lot of my friends weren't where I lived because of my previous job. They were all over the place. And I was on my way home and I was talking to my friend on the phone. And as I got up the hill, I knew that I'd started talking odd, but I didn't know how to put myself right. So I managed to say to my friend, I'm home and I'm not feeling 100%. So I'll call you back in a little while. So as I got into my house, she asked me where I was and I just didn't know. I couldn't answer the question. So I made myself a cup of tea and I'm trying to text her to say, I'm okay. And the words were they were gobbledygook. They were just letters put together. She phoned me. I can even now, these years later, I can hear her voice shouting at me to say, send me your daughter's number. Send it now. And I don't know how I did it, but I managed to send her the phone number for my youngest daughter, and she phoned Alex and her words were, Alex, you don't know me and I don't know you, but I'm a friend of your mum's and there's something wrong with her. You've got to get to her now. So Alex then phoned one of my closest friends and said, I can't get to her. Can you get to my mum? There's something wrong with her. When my friend arrived, she said, let's go to the hospital, let you get checked out. And I said, oh, I'm fine now. There's nothing wrong with me. I was just having a funny 5 minutes. And Elaine, unbeknownst to me, while she was driving over to mine, she'd phoned a friend of hers who was a nurse. Her friend that was a nurse had said, she's had a seizure, get her to hospital. So my friend just nagged me until I said, oh, goodness sake, okay, we'll go. And we waited in the hospital and we waited for ages. And by this time, I'm absolutely fine. So there was no urgency to see me. Eventually, after we'd bought a coffee and we were just sitting down, I got called through and I said to my friend, wait there, it'll only be 5 minutes. Maybe I've got a water infection. I'll just get some antibiotics. And when I went into the doctor, I could feel this weird feeling coming over me again. And I cried and said, I want my friend. And they asked what her name was. And I couldn't remember. And this is one of my closest friends. She'd been one of my closest friends for many years. And I knew I wasn't right when I couldn't remember her name. So they went out to the reception area. They called her in. And when she came into the room, I just broke down in tears. I don't remember very much of the rest of the day after that, apart from them taking me down to have a scan, bringing me back up to the area where we were, by which time both of my daughters were with me and my friend. And they said, there is something wrong. We're going to put her on a ward. They put me in a wheelchair. It was now about 1 o'clock in the morning. And as we're going down the corridors, me in the wheelchair, bearing in mind I'd lived in hotels with my work for quite a long time. And I do remember looking around while I'm being wheeled down these corridors and saying, well, I don't think very much of this hotel. And we all giggled. And then I went to the bed and I slept through, and the girls and Elaine went home and they were there first thing the following morning. They took me down for a scan, an MRI, and I knew I was frightened. I didn't know. I had no idea. And the last thing that enters your head when you're going into this big, scary, noisy machine is maybe I've got a brain tumour. We got called back to the hospital a couple of weeks later. I stayed with friends in the meantime. And I remember going into the appointment with both of my daughters and one of my brothers. And the doctor sat in front of me and there were a team of other people and I don't know who they were. When I say doctor, I mean surgeon. and he said, "You've got a brain tumour." And I don't remember anything else of that conversation, apart from thinking, "You've got very strange hair." That's what I remember. There's nothing else. After that, there was then talk about surgery, and 6 weeks later, I had a surgery. But before that, my daughters were obviously they were worried. They don't tell me they worry because I'm a bit of a natural stress head. But we went for a spa what was supposed to be the day before the surgery, and while we were in the spa, we had a lovely time. We had some food. It was a really nice spa. I thought, I don't feel 100%. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe I'm worried. So I said to the girls, "You go and finish off. I'm going to go and have a shower." And I don't remember having that shower. The last thing I remember saying to the girls was, "Come out when you're ready." I didn't know that they'd tried to shove me into the vehicle, that they were going to take me straight to the hospital. I had no idea that I had collapsed and I was being dragged out by strangers at a very busy roundabout while they were waiting for ambulances to come and collect me, and that I was completely unconscious and having quite serious tonic-clonic seizures. I don't remember being in the hospital the day before my actual surgery. They couldn't do the surgery on the day that it was due because my brain was too swollen. I remember waking up and I remember the first thing asking while I was in intensive care was, "Am I alive?" And this really nice gentleman, all dressed in white, said, "Yes, you are. And you've had your surgery." And I remember this huge bowl on my head. And there's just lots of ins and outs. And there were lots of further scans. The team I had looking after me and my daughters were just amazing. I remember having a conversation telling me that I was medically unfit to work. So there was no chance of me going back to live in Spain, Cyprus, Lapland, and all the other wonderful places that I'd been lucky enough to live in and work in. I would say take all of the help and support that is available to you. You've got help and support from Brain Tumour Research, help and support from Brain Trust. There are a variety of groups that are around you that can give you all of that support, both for yourself and your family, and just take it all, use it all. There are people around you, whether it's epilepsy support, brain tumour support, all of those people, they know how you feel and they know how your family are feeling, and they're there to hold your hand. So they can answer your questions much better than Google can. Don't Google, because you'll terrify yourself with Google. Just take those hands and let other people take a lot of the strain for you and your loved ones. My life was literally put in a bowl, shaken up and given back to me and told, "Go on then, you can get on with it now." So I studied. I thought I've got two choices here. I can sit at home and wallow in my own self-pity, or I can study. So I studied hypnotherapy, which I've used myself for weight loss and cheering myself up and giving up a very unhealthy smoking habit. And I also started using meditation and mindfulness, and I found that to be wonderful. So I do now teach meditation and I absolutely love it. I'm proud of it, and I have lovely classes. I have lovely clients, and it's just a really enjoyable thing to do. And that gives me a reason to get up as well. So in the mornings, you sort of get up and get ready for work and go and do something. So my hypnosis sessions are very calming. Everything that I do is about being calm and focusing on breathing. And again, the meditation sessions that I do, I studied meditation for quite a long time. I used it myself for quite a long time. And one of the things that I found, and if I went to meditation classes with friends, is that very often those meditation classes can be an hour long. As mostly women, not quite so much men, although the meditation classes I went to were mostly women, you'd find that after there's a 22 to 24 minute stop where your brain will start to refocus and think about the washing and cooking dinner and the supermarket shopping and the kids and the housework and the walking of the dogs. So my meditation sessions, having done this for quite a lot, are very short. So they're only maximum 20 minutes, usually between 18 and 20 minutes, because that is the time where your brain can just focus on what you're listening to. They're all very calming. And what I've also found is that if you're in a place like myself, and you struggle with anxiety, I teach my clients to focus on their breathing so that nothing else outside is that important. Just the first thing to focus on is your breathing. Just watch your breathing, count with your breathing. I make it very simple because I don't want it to be difficult for anybody. Once you can focus on your breathing, you can then start to bring yourself back into the situation around you and think, okay, I can deal with this. This is all right. And just by that very simple breathing technique, that's maybe only a minute or two, just gives you a chance to refocus and struggling with anxiety and stress, which is my own thing. That's what I've learned to do, and that's how I teach my clients. Finding my website is www.naturallycalmtherapy.co.uk, and by going onto the website there is also the links to my social media at Naturally Calm Therapy. On the website there are also the downloads that are available for both hypnosis, meditation and mindfulness, and any questions at all I can be emailed at hello@naturallycalmtherapy.co.uk. If you can't find anything that you're looking for, particularly in hypnosis, you can drop me a message and I will happily answer any questions that you might have. I can do private sessions for hypnosis and meditation, as well as classes and online languages. But I do classes locally to Plymouth. I can't name them all to say thank you. My grandson actually has seen more of my seizures than almost everybody. And he knows exactly, he's now 14, almost 15 in a couple of weeks. And he knows exactly how to recognize a seizure and he knows exactly what to do. And I have to say, when a few years ago, while he was still in primary school, I did used to feel guilty that James would see so many of these and he had to live with it. However, after having a bit of a whinge at one of the brain tumour support teams, I'd said that how guilty I'd felt. And actually, it turned out that he had a bit of a gift, because when he's seen somebody else, a complete stranger, having a seizure, James knew exactly what it was and he knew exactly what to do. He knew exactly how to react, and nobody else around him of his age group had that. You can't say gift, don't really know how to describe it, but he had this knowledge. And to be so young, and as a rugby player, if this happens, James is there. He's on it straight away. He has a real compassion and he can laugh about it with me as well. So where other people might say, well, that's a very inappropriate way to react to this, it's that little boy has to live with it. So it's not inappropriate at all. It's appropriate for us. Whether it's anybody else, it doesn't make any difference. Thank you, team at Brain Tumour Research and at Derriford Hospital. I don't know how myself or my loved ones could ever be thankful enough. My wonderful daughters, my closest friends, and my grandchildren, because without my grandchildren, having them so close to me, and they're so wonderful, they are my reason for getting up every day and for fighting and doing the work that I do. They're the reason for keep going.
This is the Aunty and Brain Tumours talk show. It's a show full of informative chat and inspirational messages. The Aunty and Brain Tumours talk show on podcast.